4 common ways we abuse ourselves after we are abused.
The Narc Ninja, bringing you the tools and tactics to heal and deal with users and abusers. And now the Narc Ninja himself, Christopher Fairchild.
Hi, and welcome to the Narc Ninja channel, bringing you tried and true, tested and approved tools and tactics to deal and heal from narcissistic abuse. You ever heard that terrible story about the frog in the pan of water? Basically, the point of the story is that the water was heated so slowly that the frog didn't notice until it was too late and the poor thing got cooked. That's such a great analogy of how a smart, predatory abuser can lure you in with love bombing and seduction, and then slowly, over time, start peeling away the layers of your life, your self-esteem, and just your whole world, tearing you down, devaluing you, until you're really trauma bonded with them and you feel trapped in the nightmare. My abuser found something wrong with each of my friends and family members over time until they had me pretty damn isolated. Years later, when I finally broke free with the help of a dear friend, I moved a few hundred miles away and lived alone. And over the next few years, I must say, at one point or another, I was guilty of each of these self-abusing ways. Post-trauma, as odd as it may sound, many of us take over where the abuser left off. The first thing I noticed, and I still deal with sometimes, is self-isolation. Self-isolation at some point in my healing was necessary, but there were times when I was just too wounded and raw to deal with people. But there have also been times when I've been just avoidant. I still have a hard time with large groups, to be honest. I was horribly bullied as a child, and when I left my abuser, they started a spectacular smear campaign against me, and that lasted for years. I lost more than half of my community to the lies and rumors, and just the thought that all of these people I thought were my friends were dining out on me behind my back, that they even seemed eager sometimes to believe the lies about me, was such a complete betrayal. It left me devastated. It brought back all those years of being so severely bullied in school. And every other week there'd be yet one more betrayal, or I would notice just a slight change in someone's demeanor around me, and it would wash over me. Oh my God, my ex has gotten to them too. As I was growing and healing, I kept realizing that once I was needing to go no contact with yet one more person in my life. And if you've been through this, you know there is no other loneliness like this phase of healing. It grew a sort of hopelessness in my heart that said, why even bother trying to make friends or trust anybody ever again? Sadly, I am still working on that part of my healing, and making these videos has been a huge part of my healing. Helping others is such powerful and important medicine. I will say, and I hope you trust me on this, even though the process of cleaning up my life and letting go of all the people who were high conflict and toxic was really hard at times, it was so worth it. I don't even have words to describe the peace and the joy that now fill my sweet life. You gotta hang in there and be patient, because, once your life lines up with your integrity and your self-care, oh my gosh, your whole life will start showing up in wonderful ways that you've never even dreamt were possible. I really do mean that. Another way we can self-abuse is self-gaslighting. In fact, I think we're most likely to do that during the no contact phase of healing. That's when we start to question ourselves, our lack of trust and our gut instinct. Maybe I am being too harsh with all of this scorched earth, NC, or no contact stuff. Or maybe I am being too sensitive. Those moments when you minimize your experience or you invalidate your true feelings. Maybe you really like this new person in your life, but dang it all, they are showing you some red flags, and you have that sinking feeling again that you are dealing with a narc. but you try to ignore it because the good part is so good with this person. That's what you call self-gaslighting. That's what that is. The third way we self-abuse after abuse is self-medicating. This could be drugs or alcohol. It could be sex or shopping, gambling, or even cutting. It's a truly sad attempt to squeeze one more drop of dopamine out of your painful life. It's a desperate attempt to feel alive, to feel something, anything. I know for me, I was so numb for the first year or so after breaking free that I found myself drinking too much. And whatever your Achilles heel is, that is probably going to be an issue for you post-trauma. This is where I need to say once again, if you feel like you need help, please go get some. There are free online meetings of all sorts, from CODA meetings to AA, NA. There's also sliding scale therapy in most communities. Another word of advice, to keep learning about what you've been through. I would say that has been the biggest part of my healing, beyond my wonderful, loving support system. I've studied narcissism, abuse dynamics, and the DSM-5 pretty much daily now for about 12 years. I think I'm up to now around, got about 60 books under my belt on the subject. Eventually this channel is going to have one hell of a reading list. But I would say, along with laughing and helping others who are hurting, that insight and enlightenment is the last giant healer in my personal healing trifecta. And the last self-abuse that I'm going to talk about is ruminating obsessively, thinking about what happened and how unfair it was, which you wish you would have said, to the point where you're even dreaming about it. It's all like you're beating yourself over the head with your own trauma, re-traumatizing yourself as though that's going to somehow help, as if it is validating you. So, okay, let's take a moment here. Let me validate you. Okay? You can play this part as many times as you need to. It was so unfair what happened to you. You never deserved any of that. I am so sorry you're having to go through all of this, and you are not too sensitive or crazy. You're smart, and none of it was your fault. Okay? The good news is that this way of abusing oneself is, like many others, somewhat self-correcting over time with healing, insight, and loving care. The good news is that we can think whatever we want to think about. Our brains, really can't think of two things at the same time. I had a very clever therapist once who asked me to think about a pink elephant, and then he wanted me to think about a crystal blue martini, whatever that is, and then he asked me to visualize a purple rose. He then stopped me, and he asked if I was still seeing the elephant. Of course I wasn't, and that was the point. He was making to me, he said, Christopher, you don't have to keep thinking about the bad stuff. With mindfulness, you can focus more on what's good in your life. You can be more thankful for those things that you do have, that have been working. Our brains belong to us, and we get to choose how to use them in our daily lives. I so hope this was helpful. If so, please subscribe. It really helps my channel grow so that others can see these videos. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me today. Now go be you to the full. Beautiful. Namaste.